you've ever heard the word Skeb and wondered what the heck it means or how to get one of your own, then this video's for you. Today is going to be a quick how-to going over what Skeb actually is, how you can submit art requests, and some common issues you might run into in the process. Plus, I'll share some tips to save you money, time, and refine the Skeb process. First of all, what is Skeb? Skeb is a Japanese website where you can submit requests for art, animation, comics, music, or advice. They automatically translate requests, so there's no need to worry about knowing any Japanese yourself. In addition, what makes Skeb unique is that there are no revisions or communication with the artist. In fact, reaching out is against the rules. Submitting a request, there are also no prices listed, besides a recommended range, meaning you can offer as much or as little as you want, but it is entirely up to the artist if they'll even accept it. As intimidating as that can sound, it is a fantastic way to get amazing artwork, and depending on your currency, getting that work at an affordable price. So how do you go about placing an order? Well, first, you need to make an account. I made mine through Twitter, but you can use email or Misskey. One benefit of using Twitter to log in is that you can see recommendations based on your following. But once you have an account, it's time to start looking. The website is set up to show newly posted artwork first, or by using the breadcrumbs at the top, the different sections are new works, works recently posted, new works of following creators, straightforward, you can follow creators and their work show up here, your following list, popular and new creators, request masters, or people who make a ton of requests, and pioneers. Not entirely sure what the pioneers are, but they're there. Each section also has a show more option. If we click this for new artworks, you can see some additional tags. This can give a visual indication of if the artist is actually open for commissions. Or using the top right, you can filter through for what type of artwork you're looking for and who is available. Filtering for available on new works can help you see active artists on the website. Once you've browsed and found an artist, we need to make sure you have references. This is one of the most important parts. If you're looking for art of your VTuber or OC with no specific requirements, I advise making a Google Drive folder with your basic references. This gives one link to share all the character info they'll need. Here's my reference folder, for example. I have my VTuber model with different expressions and a few basic art pieces. Nothing crazy. All my same default outfit and no text. The no text part is important because the artist might not speak your language. And most importantly, make sure that it's visible to anyone with the link. If they need to get your permission, the request will probably just be canceled. Now, if you want something specific, like a new outfit, specific pose, or anything other than just saying your model, but insert expression here, then you may want to make a new folder for specific references, or add a link in the request. Something important to mention is that this website makes its transactions entirely in yen. This can be a positive or negative depending on a lot of factors. For me, I find it helpful to pay artists what they ask but at a benefit of the conversion rate. For example, this artist has a recommended amount of 7,000 yen. A quick pause for people unfamiliar. The yen currency is basically listed like pennies. No, it doesn't mean $7,000, more like 70. If the yen and US dollar were equal, that is. However, the next part does depend on your currency. For me, Skeb helps me save a little bit on art by buying this way. Yeah, there can be a foreign currency exchange rate charge, but if we look at today's rate, 7,000 yen converts to about $47.63, meaning that for every dollar, I save roughly 32 cents, all while paying the artist their requested rate. Okay, now back to the actual request, starting with the side info. The recommended amount, again, is what the artist is requesting. Yeah, you can put more or less. Less would probably get you rejected, but more might help incentivize the artist into agreeing to your request. The next important bits of info are response expiration, how long your response can sit in their inbox before expiring, completion expiration being the number of days the artist has to complete the piece, and note that if they don't complete it within the listed time, You're refunded, but you also don't get the art. Average response and complete average are the average time it takes for them to respond and complete an art piece. Total being the amount of work they've done in total, and complete rate being the percentage of accepted requests they've completed. If you find an artist with a low complete rate, chances are they may accept art but not often finish it. Hints for this section are to look for those low response days, indicating activity on the site, and completion rate, so you know that they'll actually do what they accept. Once you actually start a new request, you can change the amount and then get into writing the request. For this artist, I'm going to send my new outfit reference. My request is as follows. Hello, I love your art and would like you to draw my character in an excited expression and pose. I don't have any super specific requirements here, I just like their style. If you have specific outfits outside of the normal design, you can also put an image link, like this request I've made previously. Additionally, make sure to avoid using slang or confusing wording because when it auto-translated, it may or may not come through as intended. Remember, there are no revisions or communication, so this is your only shot to be clear and concise. You'll also notice that when I typed in the words "my character," it gave us a new spot to put a link for our references. So make sure you put your link right there. And again, don't forget to enable access. Then there are only a few more things to mark. If it is mature, and if you want them to post it anonymously. If you want, there are also more details to look at. I think the two most important are hidden, if you want to keep it not visible on the site, or response deadline. If you do mark to hide it, others won't be able to see it. However, this may make the artist more hesitant to take it if they can't display it on their Skeb portfolio. Response deadline can also help ensure that the response isn't pending for too long. Finally, confirm you agree to the TOS and then pay. For most people, you'll need to use a credit card, so make sure you add one to your account. Then confirm. And now you wait. This is where the surprise comes in. I've had some Skeb come back looking absolutely amazing, like this piece here for my original design. However, my chat knows of the swimsuit piece that, while gorgeous, telling the artist my character is a succubus may have resulted in, well, let's just say the censor here is very much needed. And that's the basics of submitting a Skeb request. There are a few more pointers I'd like to share. Call this troubleshooting your request. You may get denied even before hitting submit by Skeb itself if you have dates or holidays mentioned. This is because it is against the rules to ask for a specific deadline. Why? Well, because of the system with expiration dates, it makes it easier for the site to keep track of promised deliveries. It is possible to avoid this issue while still getting themed pieces. For birthdays, I recommend saying that this character is celebrating their birthday instead of using my birthday. I found making it the character and not you, specifically relevant for VTubers out there, avoids this problem. However, it still can give you issues from time to time. Second type is to double check the style. Sure, you might love the artist, but do you notice most of their requests might be chibi? If you're looking for something outside of their shown style, they might not accept. Or if they do, this style change might not result in something that you thought you'd like. Same thing goes for specific outfits or body styles. Lastly, build off of previous requests. If you see a piece and want something similar, reference that in your request. Chances are that they'll be able to nail a pose if they've already done it. And in addition, build off of your own requests. I stopped telling artists my character is a succubus because that would change the tone of the piece. Knowing this helps you better tailor your request and get what you're looking for in one shot. Finally, yes, I have one last secret tip for those of you who might want to try their luck. Looking at newer artists on the platform, you might be able to find a deal. They could be building a Skeb portfolio and offering lower prices in exchange. This is a gamble because 1, you only have linked socials to go off of what their style is, and 2, they might not be well versed in the system yet, meaning you might not exactly get what you're looking for. But sometimes it's worth a shot to find a gem in the rough. But that's going to be it for today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll make sure to answer whatever I can. Now, go on and try your own requests. Let me know how they turn out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Mwah!